welcome to Raising the Frequency. Tim and Shannon. We're going to bring in James Grundvig. Sorry about that. AMP News TV host and author. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
I'm super excited that you're here to educate us because we know nothing.
Well, Shannon speaks for herself. But James,
I'm the humble one.
You know, listen, you're in the know, and you're speaking this truth every day, and I'm sure you've seen this coming a mile away. Why don't you just give us a little bit of quick update of what happened with the bank in Silicon Valley, and then where we are now, and if this is going to be the domino push, or is this just enough to get just to get us a scare, and maybe it'll come later on?
Well, I think it's going to fail. The entire system is going to fail in 60 to 90 days. And that's not from me. I'm not an economist, right? That's from people on Wall Street who I know, bond traders and everywhere else. It is going to fail completely. So what happened is Silicon Valley Bank was chosen as the number one bank to be taken down. Now, why? George Soros' money out of there. BLM money is out of there.
Right.
Chinese agents' monies are out of there. And suddenly there's a lot of crypto involved. There was also a lot of crypto in Signature Bank, which was the second bank that the feds came in and stopped right away on Sunday, no less. And what we learned a week later is that, we heard the Fed, Jerome Powell, we're not going to print any more money. Oh, well, they printed more money. $160 billion for the failed banks, $140 billion for the FDIC, so people wouldn't be impoverished. The FDIC's only got 1.38% funds to cover 100% failure, right? That's never going to work. So they didn't have the money anyway. So the Fed had to bail out the FDIC already. Then you have Jamie Dimon, Chase Bank, and a few other banks come together, and they injected $30 billion themselves. They backstopped First Republic Bank. And you got to realize, now, why would the white hats take down Silicon Valley Bank first, Signature Bank second? Well, there's a lot of reasons for it. Everyone's looking at the wokeism, and there's no risk managers involved, and that is all true, right? But they're being taken down because I believe they're money laundering operations, in my opinion.
Well, interesting. Do you know Joseph Gentile? He was the head of the Silicon Valley. You heard about him, and also involved in the '90s crashes of the banks. I mean, why do they put people like Joseph Gentile in these positions with a history of crashing banks? I mean, it almost like you think that's done deliberately, or you think that's just a coincidence?
No, it's they have a certain pool of people that they the upper people, the invisible hand up here can control, right? The puppet masters.
Yeah.
So they put them in, and they go in, and they do dirty jobs or whatever jobs they're doing. But sometimes it's to do an actual forensic audit, and sometimes it's to cover up something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay, because you were talking about the money. If you were to take out the money of the bank and you don't have enough to buy maybe some land or whatnot, would you put money in the stock market right now, or absolutely not?
No, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm going to tell you what I've done and just think about this logically. Okay. I had a little money in crypto last year, and before FTX, I said, I'm taking the money out last summer. So I took it out, right? I also had money in stocks and bonds the year before. I took it all out because I was expecting this crash over the next couple of years, right? It's a little delayed, right? Because they've been pumping a lot more money than you could imagine, but it's coming, right? There is going to be a day, and it's going to implode. And you got to realize BRICS nation, Russia, China, Brazil, India, and Saudi Arabia, they're separating from the West. So the system in the West is going to actually crash. You're devaluing the dollar, and there's no way it's going to be the world currency anymore, reserve. It's just not happening. And so going back to your question, what would I do with my money? I'd have money in the big bank. I do. I'd have money in the small bank, like the local credit union. I do. Okay. Why? Because you cannot figure out what bank is going to survive any of this, right? We're not Sears, right? We're not Nostradamus. I would have cash at home, and if you have money left over, I'd go be buying gold and silver, and I'd buy it in bars. Absolutely, not the coins, physical bars. You could do something like with one of our sponsors, which is Kirk Elliott, PhD, who's an economist, by the way.
Why bars? Why bars over the coins?
Because coins are not going to have the market people think they are. The rare market, the rare coin market is kind of fallen apart and doesn't have the resale value, and it's not going to on the other side. The golden bar is silver. They're going to be backing the new financial system. The only question we have, this is the unknown, is after they crash the system, we got to realize the great resetters want to crash the financial system. I think the White House accelerated the timeline, which disrupted their plans. They wanted to roll it out a certain way, and already we have bank failures in front of our face, big bank failures. And what's interesting is what did the actual people at the smaller banks do? They took all the money out of the smaller banks and they put it into the big banks. I can't say that's a good thing, can't say it's a bad thing, but I would never put all my money in one basket. If I'm them.
No, it's a good point. And what's interesting too is, I think people should also look at international banks, other banks overseas, because if there are
Russia,
Russia, China, I mean, because they're already they're backing it by gold and silver, my understanding. And so why would you not want your money in banks that are because they're letting the United States out to dry at this point, and we're going to be all alone in a midst of chaos. And prime for the taking with the New World Order's agenda, right, to put in the new digital currency. So let's talk about the new digital currency. So
the Fed now comes out in July, supposedly.
Yeah.
And the Fed now is a bridge. It's a bridge to the CBDC.
Okay, so here it is. This gets rolled out, and maybe right here, right? Yeah, this is it. You're right.
Yeah, here's my money.
Yeah, here's your money. There you go. And we're on it every day. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? People doing the transaction with Venmo and everything else, PayPal and so on. So what's life going to look like with central bank and digital currency as the primary? And do you also believe, James, that majority of the folks are going to go along with it because they're not prepared?
No, I think a few things are going to happen. One is I don't think, the IMF, World Bank, all our tax dollars goes over to those guys. Has always been going over to either them or the city of London, right? Our tax money literally doesn't go pay for new roads, doesn't pay for new bridges. That gets sent overseas. They create bonds for all the infrastructure projects in America. Americans don't realize our money's been being offshore since 1913. I mean, for more like 110 years. So that's one problem. So the problem is, will Klaus Schwab, will the IMF, will they still be in charge after a crash? Or is there an alliance of white hats that are actually going to take down the satanic deep state? That's the question. Because on the other side, we know that the old banking system is gone forever. It's not going to be there anymore. So the question is it going to be traditional CBDC as we're being sold, or is it going to be a different kind of digital currency that bypasses the banks that actually liberate the people?
Now, you talk about risky. I mean, that's a big risk you're taking, that you're relying on.
Wait, who are these white hats?
Well, not only who are the white hats, you'd be relying on, they haven't really showed up yet. You're basing a lot on, hopefully that's going to be it, rather than, you put it in somebody else's hands rather than your own, is my point.
I think it's going to liberate us. So who are the white hats?
Yeah.
Great question. All right. It started with 77 generals and admirals that got together after John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963. They said we got one plan to defeat the global satanic order, or it's over for mankind, right? The whole world goes Marxism and it's done. Fourth Reich, communism, it's over.
Okay.
So they got replaced, they aged out, passed away by 200 admirals and generals. And they probably got replaced over the last 30 years. And they recruited Donald Trump to become president. Trump didn't want to become president. Trump was recruited by them to become president. Now, people so I was with Ann Vandersteel yesterday, Ann Bryan Artis and others at a rally protesting Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Let me say this. There are signs right in front of our eyes that we're not looking at. How does Mike DeWine illegally burn off vinyl chloride up in Ohio, and the next week ends up in Fox News saying, yeah, I got a booty. I hurt my ankle in the field there. Right. And the same week we had Katie Hobbs, governor of Arizona, a completely different part of the country, right? She is with a medical booty for what? Sinaloa cartel. Then we have Mitch McConnell 10 days ago, supposedly taking a fall in the Waldorf Astoria.
What?
In Washington, D.C. Look at this. Everybody has one, like you said. How come we don't see a single picture of Mitch on the floor in the Waldorf Astoria, on a gurney going to the ambulance, in the ambulance, or in the hospital coming? Not a single, and he's been gone. So where's Waldo? No, where's Mitch?
Yeah.
Where's Mitch?
Where's Waldo?
Tomorrow, he's going to be away for 2 weeks and heard nothing. So I think there's signs in front of our face. I think the ankle booties are not an avalanche accident skiing. I think they're really, hey, you got a tracking device on your ankle. We're just hiding it for the public, but you're still going to be wearing this booty. When I saw Mike DeWine 3 days later walk around the site with the booty on his left foot, I'm like, dude.
What?
I go, You don't look in pain, because if you really break your ankle, and I've broken an ankle playing football, I go, if you really broke it, you're going to be in pain for more than a week, and you're going to have medication, and that's only going to dampen the feeling, but you're still going to be in pain. He wasn't favoring one leg or the other. He waddled because he has the sole of a boot and the sole of his shoe. So they're different soles. Other than that, he didn't show any signs of an actual injury. So those signals are in front of our face. They've been out there for the last 2 weeks. And that is what we should be focusing on, because who is doing that? You think Klaus Schwab is doing that?
Well, that's my.
Is Klaus Schwab? You think the Department of Justice is doing that? You think the FBI's put the booties on them? No, I think there's actually an invisible white hat operation behind the scenes that are actually doing it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question on that real quick here, because and I want to say, James, I hope you're right, because honestly, I feel like we're on our own, right? And it's scary to be on your own and not feel like there's some angelic or white hat folks out there who could really come sweep it and save the day.
There's got to be good if there's evil,
but,
Tim.
Yeah, no,
they're not going to sweep and save the day. We're going to save ourselves, Tim.
Okay, no, okay, but
after we wake up, and so we have to go to the edge of hell to wake up.
Okay,
go ahead.
And perhaps so. But why, if these white hats are that influential, where they could actually shift the stop the New World Order rolling out their they call it full spectrum dominance plan, which is you see, why doesn't the white hats, and if you say Trump's part of that, why don't they have their own WF? Why don't they have their own Klaus Schwab out there telling the American people and the people around the world, hey, we're here. If they're as strong and convincing as that, why are they not in the open sharing that? And that's my question to you.
They got a plan, and the plan is to wake up humanity first. I was at Sarasota Memorial Hospital yesterday, and show you how incredible it was. This is a hospital that actually killed people with remdesivir, the Fauci protocol,
Yeah.
And they had a board meeting. And so they had basically 100 speakers in 3 minutes. I didn't partake in that because I wanted to play neutral as a journalist. But I watched it happen. Half were up there saying the vaccines are bad, this and that, and then half the hospital board were there saying, "Hey, I feel great," And so you had this complete Grand Canyon between two sets of people, and we have this in our country today.
Yes, we do.
We have this separation. So until there's an event, nuclear war countdown, bank crash countdown, when everyone wakes up one morning, no one can access the money, there's got to be an event that unites everybody in waking up in panic. And the reason for this, if we don't wake up the other side, right, the sheep, the normies, if we don't wake them up, we're going to continue living as we live today, which is not really a good way to live. It's not a Christian way to live. Next 100 years, next 1,000 years, we're never going to correct the problems. This is a kind of a psychological cracking of the matrix. This is the probably most important thing is to unite the masses. 90% will wake up together. BLM, Antifa, Christian conservatives will actually be on the same side when the smoke clears. They might not be in love with each other, but they're going to be on the same side, realizing, oh, there's a 1% up there that's been controlling the world, destroying our lives for thousands of years.
Right.
You're going to have 5% that never wake up.
I hope you're right. I really do. Well, I want to talk about that.
What else is, we've been patient. What else are we going to do? You think 40, 50 million Americans with guns? I mean, we can make last stands here and there, but if they really brought in an army of communist China and half our army was against us, forget about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and not to mention the drones and the robots, AI, right, and everything else. That's
exactly. So you have to think there's got to be a plan in place.
Yeah.
You hope there is, and I'm with you. I really do hope so.
I believe there is. I don't believe God's going to let his children be destroyed. Right. Not by this evil.
Right. Yeah, this is evil as it gets.
I wanted to talk because you made a couple comments about the cash. I thought that cash isn't going to have any significance. Like our cash dollar is going to be nothing.
Hyperinflation.
It's on the way to nothing. That's for sure. No more buying power.
So should we keep cash in our house hidden somewhere?
Well, you do. I mean, we don't know how this is going to play out.
In the safe.
Okay. Yeah, we don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know.
No, you do need cash because you might not have access to your credit card the next day.
Right.
It may only be
you might not have access to your phone with the money on it.
So do you think that if we keep money in the bigger banks, our money will stay safe?
Okay, so
I think spread it out evenly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, but let's talk about this. If these white hats are going to be coming and saving the day, why the Satanists? Why are they trying to say that Trump's going to jail? I mean, if he's like the head face there, are they doing it just
because Trump needs to be removed? You know, the Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to be removed from the picture, right? And then whatever happens next when the military does show up, the white hats, they can't be. You know, Trump can't be blamed for anything historically.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And we at AMP Media, so I'll say John Michael Chambers, the founder of American Media Periscope, got some great intel last July. So it was almost a year ago, right? Last July, 9 months ago, and came out and said Trump's going to be arrested. Then we had the FBI raid on August 8th, which was a Monday, right? And then I went down there to cover that. And then we realized we got intel from 107 that Trump had cut down all of the perimeter trees, privacy trees around Mar-a-Lago. Those are 20-foot trees, cut down everything. Now, why would he do that? Because the second time that the FBI come raids and decides to arrest Trump, it would be captured on camera, live stream.
Oh, no way.
Trump's a strategist. Let's continue. It doesn't end there. Today's Tuesday. Today, everyone in the media is predicting Trump get arrested. I'm saying he might get indicted, but he's physically not going to get arrested in New York City. So Trump's a strategist. I'm a New Yorker. I moved down to Florida 2 years ago. Okay. I lived in New York City, born and raised above the city, lived in Manhattan 30 years. I know the city inside out. I work construction there. I know everything inside and out about New York City. I actually have contacts in the New York Police Department. So here are two things. Why would Trump go to New York City to go ahead and make my day, arrest me, right? Why would he do that? Oh, because the New York City Police Department, most of them would walk off the job if you got arrested in the city. They'd walk off the job.
So this is hard for me to wrap my head around because he's dividing.
Think about it. Well, first of all, the New York City Police Department are very traditional, family oriented. They hate
New Yorkers,
the Marxists.
Man. There's nobody talking about
real true New Yorkers. They hate Marxist DA Bragg. They certainly hate Kathy Hochul, who wants to challenge a judge that struck down the FEMA camps.
Right. Yeah.
In New York. Right. Yeah. And they certainly hate Mayor Adams. They've seen he sold out to Communist China. Right. They hate all of them. And if you're going to, and Trump's not just a businessman. Trump's a president. Right. Former president. If they see a former president who's done basically nothing wrong and get arrested over Stormy Daniels of all things 15 years ago.
Exactly.
And that's all you have after 7 years. I mean, really, of 1 million man hours, with all the fake impeachments, fake Russiagate, this gate, that gate, all of that. That's all you got. You got nothing. So the police officers, when I say, will walk off the job, they walk off the job, entire chaos falls in New York City. But if you think crime's bad the last 2 years, crime's going to go off the charts.
Off the chart, yeah. And
off the chart. And then what Hochul's going to do? Is she going to send, what is she going to do? Send in the National Guard?
But don't they want that? Don't they want that for martial law?
No, here we go again. This is about disrupting timing and plans. So Trump is a disruptor. Okay. They have a plan to destroy the city, but they're not in position to control that destruction.
Right.
I think. Right. The second piece of this is McCarthy and Congress. McCarthy comes out yesterday and basically asked Bragg flat out, is this political? Because the question mark is, well, what power does Congress have? Oh, Congress doesn't have to give money, can shut off the taps of federal funds to New York City, New York State immediately if they wanted to. So then what are we looking at? We're looking at a city that is, a city and state would be committing political suicide. Bragg would be done forever. Adams, Hochul. Will they take the rest to actually arrest Trump? I'm not talking about the indictment. I'm talking about physical arrest in New York City. I don't think so.
All right. Well, fair enough. And that may not happen. I know you want to get in there. But let me just ask this question. I know we got to get in here shortly. Shannon, get one more question in. But, I get what you're saying, and I hope that scenario is correct, because I do really want to have some folks come in and really help us throughout this process who are in key positions right now that I haven't seen step up, at least not in the open. But are you strictly ride or die with Trump? Or are you open-minded and have a plan B in case Trump turns out to be a good cop, bad cop routine, keeping us into this New World Order agenda, just people not rising up and doing anything because they think somebody else is going to come save them? Are you open-minded enough, or are you completely
I'm convinced? Open-minded enough, but it's not going to be DeSantis.
No, definitely, I agree with you on that. Okay, but as long as you're open-minded.
Everybody, listen, let's be honest here. Everybody's a human being. Everybody can be replaced.
Yeah.
Simple. Yeah. There's always a line of succession. So that's all I'm going to say there, right?
All right.
And then, now this is just my question. This is what I just don't understand. If Trump is really part of the white hats, part of a bigger picture, why did he hang up to dry so many of his followers on January 6th? And now he's calling for a protest and take all your money
you
out
got
of
to
the
go
bank
back.
after
You
this
got to go.
big bank fall. Sorry.
You got to go back and look at the timing of everything on that day.
Why wouldn't he pull these people out of jail now?
There's a reason for everything. Trump cannot get directly involved, like I said, about waking up the millions of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of people around the world. This is bigger than 86 people in jail. I'm going to say that. Hate to say that, but that's a reality. So Trump cannot intercede right now. He said, take him out of jail, this and that. You got to realize, go back to January 6th. What did Trump do? He showed up late for his speech at the Ellipse.
Right.
He comes in about 12:15. Why? Well, 1 p.m. in military time is 13. 13, right? 13 is what? That is the Illuminati number.
Yeah.
So like today, 2021 of March is, that's blackjack. They think we're going to blackjack Trump today. That's not happening. Like I said, he's not getting arrested today. Indicted maybe, but he's not getting arrested. I don't think so. He's going to force him to arrest him at Mar-a-Lago, and therefore he'll be in control of his own arrest. Pretty intelligent, right?
Yeah.
So you have these different things, but he went past the 1 o'clock, the 13th hour.
Okay.
And these Illuminati they're slavish to numbers, and they were going to do it exactly at 1 o'clock. And Trump deliberately, if you go back and compare a Trump rally versus a Trump ellipse speech, he's at a slower, mellow cadence. He's walking instead of walking fast like he does in a rally.
Well, I think Trump also got lucky too, James. That fact that the FBI boggled their process. There was supposed to be much a bigger chaos and deaths and everything, and they screwed up the whole false flag.
Right. He disrupted it. But guess what? Trump was owned by the DNI, right? Department of National Intelligence was owed a 45-day election interference report on December 18th, which was a Friday, 2020. Never arrived, right? It would arrive on January 19th instead, right? Delayed another 45 days. That was done by the deep state, correct, right? But that week, Trump, the 14th, per 107, Trump has a thing called a daily national brief, right? A presidential brief every day. He gets it. Intel brief, what's going on in the world. On Monday, the 14th, Trump knew two things. He knew there would be a false flag hoax on the 6th of January. He knew this. That's why he never called
it, right?
No, he didn't orchestrate. He knew it was coming. Therefore, he knew he would. What could he possibly do to disrupt it? Delay his speech, run it through the 13th hour. Think about all these things, right? He also knew Communist China stole the election on that same day, the 14th of December. It was Monday. So he knew every day the report said the same thing. He knew a false flag was coming on the 6th of January. This had been done in Soviet Union 30 years ago, where in Moscow, the old Russian communists blew up part of the Kremlin and blamed a certain group of people, and they were all arrested. This is a repeat.
Yeah.
January 6th is not...
Hitler did the same thing, blew up, burned his...
Yes, exactly.
This is fascinating, James. This is fascinating.
Playbook.
James, we got to have you come back because we got to get more depth about what's going on here. Because I love your perspective, and I want you to keep that optimism out there. At the same time, just be open-minded because it's right. As David Icke said, it's time to be open-minded and light on our feet because we don't know what direction is going to happen. Yeah. But what we do need to do is unite and not be divided by it in any way. So, but listen, thank you, James. James, real quick, people catch you and watch your show how?
Yeah, so James Grumig, American Media, Periscope. I'm the host of Unrestricted Truth, the #1 show on AMP.
Yep.
We have a lot of great shows.
Yep.
But why is my show popular? Probably because I'm the common man.
Yes, you are. Right. You are the common man. All right. Thanks again for coming on, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Shannon.
Bye. Take care. Guys, we get back. We have our wrap up and more about the launch party. Oh, my God. It's going to blow your mind. So stay tuned, guys. See you in a minute.
Welcome to the Raising the Frequency with Tim and Shannon. What did I almost just say? Welcome to the shit show? It was this close.
Listen, I love James coming on. He has a great show. You guys should go check it out. Now, we might always agree or disagree, but as long as people are open-minded, because there are different scenarios. You can look at the scenarios one way and look at it another way, So.
But it reminded me a little bit too much of the whole when Trump pushed out these scenes and people went to defend him. Well, he had to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Why would he have to
kill people?
so many people?
Yeah. It's a hard thing to defend.
I just don't understand.
Well, it's that philosophy: the many are more important than the few, and that I don't subscribe to that belief
Wait,
system.
that's a thing?
Hey, by the way, Nose Nooker says, I like how Shannon sits there now and does not interrupt every convo.
Well, you must be part of Q, Nose Snooker.
I'm sorry, Shannon, that was funny, though.
Look, he's in his glory days.
All right, so, but, bottom line is this. It could be, one thing I would say this to all the Trump supporters out there. If he gets arrested, he clears his house, so it be nationalized, all right, and all television there, and you see him in handcuffs being, it's going to cause a level of anger a lot of the Trump supporters. Okay,
that's what it's going to cause, more division. It's going to piss them off.
I would say, do not be emotionally responsive to what's going on, because if it is a pony show here, okay, if it is a circus that's being played out in a good cop bad cop routine, then when you feed into it, you're going to make things worse by causing, because they have full spectrum dominance. They can shut down everything through the 5G towers, through the radiation, through the drones, everything else. They want chaos so they can bring in the New World Order through control mechanisms of having a lockdown of martial law. So I would say don't feed into that. See how it plays out, and then deal with that. Like, look at Stuart Rhodes. He's still sitting in jail because no one spoke to him.
See, that doesn't make sense to me. Why is Trump keeping him in there? Why wouldn't he pull some?
Well, like James said Trump. He can't deal with that. It's a much bigger picture. And
that's sacrificing others. Then
I know, but
so what kind of protests are people going to have now if he does get arrested?
Trump's telling them what to take your money out of the banks and what?
Which doesn't make sense with all the whole banking tie-up that's going on. This is what I'm saying. I feel like we're going in circles.
Speaking about that, we have this video about Joseph Gentile.
Okay.
We haven't. That's the last one I think we got here.
Okay, play that video real quick, and then and let's talk about that, because this is like, well, now James did mention that they put these guys in these positions to fail these. I mean, so he's totally on board with that. Go ahead.
It's been a crazy few days for the banking industry, specifically for Silicon Valley Bank and its shareholders, as it went from supposedly stable and solvent to closed down by the regulators in the space of just over 24 hours. And it appears the domino effect has begun already, with Signature Bank in New York closed by regulators citing systemic risk. Anyone who thinks the SV Bank collapse was a coincidence has not been paying attention to the details. The hidden hands at work here have left their fingerprints all over this one. And when it comes to this amount of money, there are no coincidences. Meet Joseph Gentile, an executive at SV Bank. Do you know where Joseph Gentile worked before he was at Silicon Valley Bank? He was the chief financial officer at Lehman Brothers, which was the largest bank to crash in US history. That's one hell of a coincidence. But it gets even worse. Where do you think he worked before the Lehman Brothers? Do you remember a company named Enron? Enron was an energy company based in Houston, Texas, and a Wall Street darling in the 90s. Do you remember Enron getting shut down in late 2001? Enron was the biggest bankruptcy in US history and the biggest audit failure. The founder and CEO were sentenced to 24 years in prison. And it just so happens that Joseph Gentile was at the helm of all three companies before they went to the wall. And unlike his colleagues, he has never faced justice.
Think about that. He was involved in Enron. He was involved with
Lehman Brothers.
The Lehman Brothers, and now he's involved with Silicon
Valley.
And this guy gets no jail time. All these other people are patsies, go to jail, and he gets out. Tell me that,
Because they have people in positions that are protecting him, because it's woven. They're all linked within each other.
Come on,
you would think the first time in the 90s with Enron that he would be blacklisted, he would be in jail.
I remember
he'd be in jail.
That was in New Mexico, wasn't it? Enron? Wasn't it in Rio Rancho, New Mexico?
I'd have
Weird
to.
that I remember that.
But then you also have the Lehman Brothers incident in 2008, the biggest bank crashing to history. Same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
And now here with Silicon Valley with the feds taking over. And this guy hasn't even been brought up in the news. You don't even know his name. And there's other people involved in this as well. But it just goes to show you folks that this is insane. They have their people. This is a part of their agenda.
Reminds me of Pasternak, who was the handler for Kanye West and all the rest of the celebrities.
Yeah.
Where he's like the physical PT coach or whatever, trainer. Mm-hmm. But yet he's working behind the scenes, putting people people in psych wards. And
Yes.
it's like these guys have handlers, and I bet you Gentiles Bob was a handler too.
About Gentile, you know that's biblical, the Jews and Gentiles.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting that he has that last name.
Well, yeah, who knows that's
Honestly,
good or not.
I wonder if that because there's symbolism in everything. Like our guest James Grunvig just said about the 13 being the Illuminati. Have you realized the symbolism in numbers? It's insane, and with everything.
There is. Like James said, they're religious about their numerology and their numbers. You know,
the numbers and the frequencies, they correlate somehow. I don't know but they definitely do. But it just goes to show you that like this is just a game. This is just the agenda they're waving around and forcing this down our throats. So.
Oh, guys, let's talk about the launch party real quick because the emails.
Oh my God!
Emails are going out today. The launch party is going to be off the hook. It's on the top of the up on the roof. It's a rooftop party.
Alpharetta.
We have it laid out. Red carpet affair. It's going to be. We have cameras. We have video films. We got folks coming in. We have a fun live auction too.
We have
You're gonna love
Tim,
that.
Shannon, Ashley, and Tommy. Which, by the way, can I just say, Ashley and Tommy, how many people are so excited to meet you guys?
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Oh, by the way,
they see me all the time, but they can't wait to meet you.
And guess one of the auction items on there is a UI Media picnic where you go out on a picnic with all of us, all four of us.
That would be so much fun, and I'm going to spike the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And you get to come in on do a show with us too. At least you sit in and have
That's a fun auction to have.
I know, exactly. Like, we have so many more things on there too. We're gonna have a self-defense auction too as well.
Who's gonna make the food for the picnic?
Yeah, I know, right?
We're gonna get it catered, right?
Shannon's gonna have to cook for it.
No,
too.
it'll be peanut butter and jelly for everyone.
Shannon's
with
cooking.
the soy oil peanut butter, not the organic either. I'll just be.
And listen, if you want to be a sponsor, we only have 4 slots left for sponsors. If you want to be a title sponsor or a regular sponsor, it's only $2,000, and you get so much along with it from being on our show and being part of a community directory and everything else. So check it out. Let us know because it's going to go quick, and we'll only do a limited amount. So let us know.
Mary Reese just wrote, plus his name, Gentile, can't make it up. That's what I just said, right?
Yeah. So, but
us Christians know.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, it's going to be something, and I can't wait to see everybody else. The Christian is going to be just.
I want to know who's coming. Tell me if you're coming right now. I know Chastity said she's coming.
Well,
I know.
yeah. Well,
I want to know who's coming. I cannot wait to meet you guys and play with you and old friends and new OGs. Even Nando's coming. Nando's.
We have people coming all over out of country
get back in
here.
his country because he's from Canada, and I thought you have to be vaccinated.
Nando's like the mob. He knows exactly how to handle things.
Maybe he's just going to move in with you.
I know, right?
Which I'd love.
We have people coming from
Nando's.
Mexico. People come from Canada, all over the country.
I know
California,
Nina said she's coming from, I think, where was it? Was
Mexico.
it Ohio?
Mexico.
Oh, Nina's in Mexico?
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought it was Ohio.
No, and Dave's up in Ohio. You gotta get Dave to come on down too.
Dave, it's closed. Come on down. Like,
Dave, you want to live longer? Get the hell out of Ohio, all right? And come on down where the air is clean.
Come on, it's already in the Chattanooga River. It's already right by us.
I hope not. So, what do you think of the show, Thomas? Ashley?
I thought it was fantastic.
What'd you learn?
I learned a lot. I thought the guests.
think that Trump is going to save us.
Both guests were very insightful, very passionate people, and I think that's a beautiful thing to see, especially in our arenas where we're all meant to feel alone. So I think it's very important that we get to see that.
And community, and I love Tag's perspective on community.
Yes, definitely, and I love that he's working out a system. I think that's beautiful. And the things that we talked about with the banking as well, I think that's very important. The things that we shared on that.
People have to realize, I have to say, guys, it's coming. I mean, everyone's telling you it's coming, and everyone just, doesn't prepare. You have to prepare.
I don't trust that everybody wants to buy into gold and silver when gold and silver was going to be obsolete a couple years ago. So this is what I'm not understanding.
Okay, Shannon, why is China and Russia backing all their money by gold and silver?
Well,
why is all these countries?
I'm just saying, I don't know.
Well, because they're smart and we're not. That's why.
But don't you think it's a little odd that certain people that are pushing gold and silver are a certain caliber of person? Does that not
like
faze you?
What's the caliber of person?
Like conservative.
Like
QAnon,
critical thinkers.
QAnon are pushing it.
So everyone's pushing it.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying critical thinkers are pushing it. I mean, you have to be blind to what's going on.
But also, what Tag said is he's putting his money in property as well, and I think that's important.
That's what I think. I think you need to put your money in assets more than gold and silver. But I don't know. Who am I? Honestly, I'm just a.
Well, as long as it has that true value.
No assets, so how could she know to put in assets?
As long as it's getting that true value. I think it's important, but it's kind of crazy too. If everyone pulls their money out, then the banks close, and then they get what they want too. That's how they do it, though, isn't it? They get both sides of everything, and they just
all I
take
know
control.
is I'm going to go with my God's given intuition in what feels right, and I'm going to pray about it and think and research and just go with that without any apologies. That's all I can do.
I think that's great.
Well, the good news is invites go out today, so get prepared to raise the frequency coming up May 4th and May 5th, and you will just be part of the solution. And that's what I love about
We're
it.
going to have so much fun, you guys.
Yeah, I know.
So they can RSVP today then.
Yes, they can.
So RSVP.
You'll get the email, and if you don't get the email because you're not on an email list, then you need to.
You gotta get on the email
You need
list,
to get on the
people.
email list. Okay. So, Shannon, what?
And look for it. And if you're already a member, they can just RSVP.
Yes, exactly.
So remember that.
So Shannon, what do you got plans for coming up this weekend?
I have nothing.
Really?
I'm just going to go home with my children.
Well, I want to say Shannon, part of the auction list is Shannon, she doesn't know yet, but she'll be giving kisses out at the red carpet.
No fun a row.
So, yep. And you got to pay top dollar for that.
Nobody would want that. They'd be like, oh, you say Trump is savior. You don't say it. No, but I'm excited for the auction, for the picnic, for all of us. But what, do we have our show next week? Do we know?
World War III. Wow.
Well, we'll figure out how to get out of that one. We love you guys. Raise the frequency. See you next week.
Bye.
The UI Media Network and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.